TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Good afternoon, world. This is Jineea Butler, your host of the New American Perspective on Millennium TV, the Millennium News 24. Let's get that right. This is Jineea Butler for the New American Perspective on Millennium News 24. And I am wonderful today, and it is great to see you, great to feel you, and great to be back with you again this week. Now, you know we got a lot of stuff going on, right? Okay? We got a lot of stuff, so let's talk about it. So you know the breaking news is your boy, Mayor Adams, is about to get axed, okay? So everybody, and you talked about this from when he got indicted, everybody is on his butt right now because Trump has now gave him the Department of Justice and said, let him go until October. Now, this is where everybody's up in arms, is because he's only got until like October until they get their stuff together, and then they're going to review his case. But until then, they want him to be his guard dog in New York City, let them in and get these migrants and get everything going. So how do y'all feel about that? You know, I feel some type of way. You know, I always feel some type of way about the brother man and how the brother man is treated. But but I've never liked Mayor Adams. I was one of the first to said he should have resigned when he got the indictment. And here's my problem. So you wanted him to resign. You didn't want him to resign. Excuse me. Let me get this right, because it doesn't even sound right. You didn't want him to resign when he had a $10 million fraud case on his head. He got indicted for laundering $10 million. And none of these people, even the governor, didn't say, well, Mayor Adams, she kept him in place. We thought then that he was going out, right? But then now everybody is like, oh, Trump let him go. Oh, we don't want any. But this is a Democratic power play, people. Okay, this is how the Democrats are using this equation to get back into the conversation. Okay, because now the fact that everybody's mulling this over, you got Michael Blake, who is running for mayor, put out a petition that said, fire Mayor Adams, Governor Hochul, sign candidate for mayor Michael Blake. Now, Michael Blake, if you know, worked with the Obama administration. So now he's hefty on wanting to be the next mayor, okay? So the race is open. So they got 4 months. June is the next time when the primary for the Democratic primary. Now, you know, in New York, the mayor is usually a Democratic mayor. We haven't had, we had Bloomberg, who was a Republican, but he ran as an independent, paid everybody, gave everybody 3 terms, and then kept his little job for that long, okay? So we don't have anybody up that is really ready to play that kind of game in another category. So I don't think that we're going to get it. Now, Curtis Sewa, the guardian angel, he has rekindled the guardian angels. He's back out on the street. He's doing his things. He's keeping the city safe on the trains and patrolling. And he's got his people out there. And he's been keep holding the mayor honest, and he calls them the swagger man with no plan. Well, what is your plan right now, Mayor Adams? Because you're in deep water. I'm a little nervous for him because, you know, what happens if they remove him as mayor right now? Like 7 people then resign. So they just said, you know what? I'm resigning before I sign this paperwork for this guy right here. Well, what was you doing before? What was you doing when he was indicted? But the fact that Trump is in here, we go with this Trump thing. Oh, if you talk to Trump, nobody could talk to you. Here we go with all of this. I don't like that. I don't like that, because that's forcing people to choose because they're scared that they'll get ousted and things of that nature. But here we are in the same dilemma where Mayor Adams now, he doesn't have a choice to make now. His choice is off the table. There's nothing more that he can say. He was in the church the other night preaching about his role and everything going on. He's got to go to the church. He got to get on his knees and he prayed. He said he prayed to get out of the DOJ thing. Now, it did look a little shaky going to see Trump, going down to Mar-a-Lago. He went out to an inauguration, and then Homeland Security, Tom Homan, he came in and was like, yeah, he had him sitting down next to him, and he said, yeah, we're going to put this on Rikers Island and ICE on Rikers Island, and we're going to start, pulling up out of there, because that's how it is. And that's what we're going to go ahead and do. And Mayor Adams was sitting there next to him. He'd be holding his hands low. They were low. They weren't as high as I put them, but he holds his hands nice and low. And it's not good. Al Sharpton came out last night, and he's all calm. I spoke to the governor, and we talked about what we should do, and I told her that, let's wait till what the judge is saying, and we'll go from there. So obviously there's a judge that's overseeing the hearing, and then it goes back to Governor Hochul, and Governor Hochul is going to make the last choice. Now, what she said, she went on MSNBC with Rachel Maddow, and she was like, look, and she basically told Rachel, slow down, girlfriend, slow down. So I don't like Hochul, but she had a little backbone where she didn't just fall apart because the people told her to, right? So that was the one thing. And so now Hochul, like I said, she was more saying, listen, right now, crime is down. The city is starting to stabilize. My responsibility is to the people. It's not so much running around with this Adams piece, and just because everybody want me to take him out, I got to look and see what happens to the city when I remove him. Well, what happens is that everybody starts running around like predators and become trying to be the mayor because they know that he's not in. So then they know that it's open season, and all kinds of people are running for mayor. And so we've got to decide in New York who that's going to be, because Mayor Adams, like I said, I don't really like him, but he had a long history of being in politics, and he couldn't hold the city down. So we can't just give this up to anybody and anybody start going forward. Okay. So now, let's really look at things and say, where is that going to leave us? Now, like I said, Sharpton came out. Hochul told Rachel Maddow, slow down, hold up, wait a minute. But I think we're going to get the judge's decision today. And then I'm assuming that in the next couple of days, I think that she's going to have to remove him, because now the calls have gotten really strong, really vast out there. But see, Hochul's job is on the line too, people. And that's what we've got to look at, because Hochul is like, what are we talking about here? Hochul's out here pricing, the congestion pricing. I don't think that she's going to make it another term. So let's look at the governors. But see, again, we can't just have anybody's jumping up, because the city doesn't pay attention to who is trying to run, what their background is, because Jumaane Williams, he ran for governor. He's the public advocate. I believe he's running for mayor now, so the seat is open. And then what they're doing is they're leaving it open for Governor Cuomo and for the mayor. Governor Cuomo, he was he was removed. Let me say he removed himself. He resigned as governor because he had a sexual assault case, and all of the people during COVID, he had put people who had COVID into nursing homes, and a lot of people in the nursing homes died. So now this is what we're up against, right? So New York City, we got to get our mojo back, and it's got to come back really quick, and we can't just trust in anybody to step up to do this. Okay, so let's really think about what it is, and then if we have to choose a new mayor, let's get this all together. Like I said, what do we have? What are we working with? I like Curtis Sewa. I believe that he cares long term about the New York City piece. He'd be my Republican answer to New York City, but you Democrats have the power. So what are you going to do with that power? Now, everybody was out in Albany this weekend, so I know that everybody had a big talk this weekend for the Black and Latino caucus in Albany. Nas was out there, hip hop represented itself. The parties look good. I didn't hear anything about, what they were talking about and what the agenda was, but it was this weekend. Also, All-Star Weekend was this weekend. It was a bomb. I watched on Saturday and I saw the slam dunk contest. What was that? I mean, the guy who won, the white boy who won 3 times in a row that doesn't play in the NBA is the dunk champion, the 3-point contest winner. I don't know who that was. Steph Curry or the real 3-point shooters are not in there. NBA, you got to get yourself together, because these people sitting out during All-Star Weekend and thinking that's part of their pay. When you pay them big, you pay them to be in the All-Star game. You pay them to be in the dunk contest. They shouldn't be able to say, no, I'm not going to be in it, because now you have a lackluster weekend and you're losing money. And I forgot on Sunday that the All-Star game was being played. That's how terrible that was. And then your boy Jello, he performed. He got a $10 million contract from Def Jam, and he performed. And it was a whoa. He got a what you call it with Lil Wayne. So anyway, back to the congestion pricing. Look, my boy Trump is coming through. He's knocking down the congestion pricing. He found out how to do it. Thank God Almighty. Trump to halt New York congestion pricing. Hello, we did it, people. We did it. Power to the people. Trump to halt New York congestion pricing by terminating the approval. Let me see if I can see. The toll was expected to raise $15 billion for the transit system. Why are we giving them $15 billion and people are burning up? The service ain't right. People, this is just crazy. People late to work. It's 100 million people on there, and they want $15 billion more, and then they coming up with all these weirdo projects and stuff. You still didn't get the Second Avenue subway in tow. So rescinding federal sign-off is likely to face legal challenges. Okay, y'all better back down on that, because he found where it was at. He's moving to block New York City's congestion pricing program, reversing the federal approval grant last year. And likely setting up a legal showdown over the tolling initiative. Now, they paid a lot of money to get that up there for us to pay this money, but he's on it. He's on it. Thank you, President Trump. These people need to get out your way on a couple things. Now, he's firing 15,000 people at the IRS, but the IRS, are we mad at that? I'd say President Trump, don't necessarily fire them on the way or during tax season, like give them a second, and everything like that. And then he fired some people that had took the buyout. So then after they took the buyout, he fired them anyway. Oh, you took the buyout and now you're fired. So they wilding over there. I ain't even going to say that they're not wilding. They're moving a little quick, and quick is good because look, Elon Musk, check him out. We're going to go to a break in a second, but let me tell you this. Elon Musk, he stopped everything and said, look, with the money that I'm finding, I'm gonna give everybody $5,000 of a Doge refund from the money that I'm saving United States. Hello, somebody. You all better get on the right team. I'm gonna come back after this break, and we're gonna talk more about what is breaking news and what's happening in this United States of America. We're going to go to the Gulf of America and see how it's looking now. But I'll be right back on Millennium News 24. This is Jineea Butler, and I'm your host for the New American Perspective. And we are back. We are back. So much going on right now in America. You know, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They had their huge parade in Philadelphia. It was a couple million people out there. It was a sea at the Art Museum. Have you ever been to the Art Museum? The Rocky Steps. So beautiful. 2 people got shot though out there, a little off the parade channel, but you know, still, who, what, when, where, why are people getting shot during the parade? So, like I said, we are congratulating New York City because the congestion pricing is getting out of here real fast in a hurry, and I hope that people don't try to block it. Now, you know the MTA is going to try to block it, so that means it's going to be a little bit more time, people. It's going to be some time, but I'm hoping that President Trump really, really blocks everything that's going on. So what else do we have going on hot and heavy in the United States right now? How's the weather where you're at? It's supposed to be some snow coming your way. It's supposed to be snow. So what we're doing, I am actually going tomorrow, February 20th, I'm actually going to the White House for the Black History Month celebration. So I'm very excited about that. Shout out to Lynn Patton and the whole team over there at the White House. I'm excited to see, you know, what we are celebrating after President Trump. Somebody whispered in his ear, you know, get rid of the Black History Month celebration, but now it's back on. Black History, Black back in effect, Black in effect. So now it's back on, and I'll let you know next week how that was. I'm sure that it will have a festive time. I'm hoping that, you know, it is on point, and I do not have to report that Black wasn't Black at the White House. Okay, and you know that we'll talk about it. So what else is happening? So we got the congestion price, and I'm so happy about that, people. ASAP Rocky, did you see this case? ASAP Rocky, Rihanna, superstar Rihanna's husband, was on trial the other day, and he beat his charges. And so in our community, a lot of time people take plea. They gave him a plea bargain for 180 days and probation for a long time. And he said, no, that will actually mess up my my endorsements going forward. So I don't want to do that, and I do not want to let go or go to jail for any time for what I didn't do. So he was accused of shooting his friend, and they had this whole group of ASAPs, right? And so he was accused of shooting his friend and grazing him on the knuckles, and they were in there, and he was facing 24 years of prison. He stood there, he took it to trial, and he took it all the way through, and he got found not guilty. So we are happy about that. Today, Irv Gotti is put to rest at Greater AME Church in Queens. They are having the service there this afternoon. They probably already had it thus far, but they're having a service there this afternoon. And rest in peace to Irv Gotti. If you don't know who Irv Gotti is, he brought out people like Ja Rule, Jay-Z, Ashanti, Christina Milian, DMX, and a few others, but those are the major players that he brought out. He was a legendary person in the hip hop community. He died last week at the age of 54 of a diabetes stroke. And so he had a stroke and double stroke and died. And he had been fighting this for a long time. So rest in peace to Irv Gotti. The hip hop community really has to take a look at itself, because between the ages of 50 and 60 are ages where they have just worn themselves out and the body is no longer working after that. So we really have to take care of ourselves. If you need any insurance, you want to go to New American Life. That's what you see. We're the New American Perspective, and we have an insurance company that we can work with you and help you get life insurance for you and your family, and also health insurance for your family as well. So tap in, let us know, and we will send you the details to that. I'll actually, on the next break, put it on the screen. So we've got a lot of stuff happening. So Trump has spoken to Putin. Okay. How do you feel about that? Are you guys on keep your enemies close, your friends close and your enemies closer? Are you guys on that? Do you guys subscribe to that piece, of action? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Well, Trump I seen him saying, listen, me and Putin, we all right. I know him. He's like, I know him well. How do you know him well, sir? How do you know him well? I don't know how you know him well. But, he says, Putin wants to put an end to the Ukraine war. And he's worried about Zelensky and what he's talking about and what he's doing. But yeah, it's tired to put it in. He talked about how this may by accident start a World War III, and that's not what we want. But everybody else, when Biden was in office, don't make no mistake, he was about to go for it. He was like giving them all the money. Go ahead, start World War III. Hurry up. But when there's a transition of power and a possible transition of power, you will always see that the politicians try to create a war. So you want to keep it the way that it's always has been. And so we've got to make sure that we are paying attention, people, and we are paying attention a lot more than we have in our past. Little hip hop news. Have you heard what is going on with Big Meech? Have you know who Big Meech is? Big Meech was a drug dealer out of Atlanta and Detroit. Big drug dealer. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison. He was recently released, somehow under Biden's administration. He was recently released. And in the hip hop world, it's big on being snitches, right? You're not supposed to be a snitch in the hip hop world. And so everybody's wondering how Big Meech got out. Well, comes to find out, one of his old partners got 27 years. So Meech is coming home and one of his old partners got 27 years. And the partner said that Meech set him up through a third party cooperator, which was this girl, Tammy Cowens. I don't know, but it's big right now in the hip hop community. And I think the hip hop community really needs to take a look at itself. And when it's talking about no snitching. So let me ask you, my audience, who's not necessarily a hip hop audience, when you think about snitching, what do you think about? They say, it's not for the civilians. The civilians don't have to worry about that. But in this case, he came home and he was this big kingpin. In Rick Ross's song, I think I'm Big Meech. Larry Hoover. Both people that are locked up, and Rick Ross has been fantasizing about being Big Meech, and then Rick Ross, who has a beef with 50 Cent, he brings Big Meech into his camp. 50 Cent, who is diabolical for everything, okay? 50 Cent said, you know what, Rick Ross? You go ahead and take him. You go ahead and take that rat. And then 50 blew his whole spot up. And then now, his whole repertoire is gone. And his young son, if you've seen on Stars, there's a show on Stars, BMF. His young son, Little Meech, played him in the Stars. And so now 50 then canceled the whole Stars, the whole BMF Stars, because of the beef. 50 don't like no beef. Okay, I'll give that to him. He stay out of trouble. 50 will come with a whole police precinct and say, go ahead, try me. These people can legally shoot you, and they will. So hey, how's that work? But now the BMF franchise is up in smoke, and Big Meech and Little Meech are out. 50 put them out to dry. 50 is losing his mind. And so we've got so much going on all over the world. Do we need this too? We probably don't, but it's inevitable. So again, what do you feel about these people and snitching? I don't think that it matters anymore. Snitching is telling on somebody when you know that some information that's going to put them in jail. Excuse that right there. When some information that's going to put them in jail. So what else is happening and going on? This weekend is the NAACP Image Awards. So we have a lot of people up for Image Award. Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp is up. He's going against Kendrick Lamar and a bunch of other people that may be top dollar. I know I know Method Man, he's going up for an Image Award. So that should be actually a really good show. Again, I'm trying to see if sweating here. I'm trying to see if the mayor has stepped in with anything. Governor Hochul's weighs in on Governor Hochul weighs removal of New York City Mayor Adams. So we don't have that yet. So we do not have that in the tow yet. But again, the big news everywhere is Mayor Adams. Now I see Jumaane Williams jumping up and talking about Mayor Adams, warnings on New York City Mayor Adams' possible super woke replacement. I think they're talking about Jumaane Williams. So now look, so again, everybody is rushing to judgment. You see how I'm sweating? I'm just going crazy. Everybody is rushing to judgment. Everybody is rushing to who should be the next mayor. So we've got to figure that out all together. Who do you think should be the next mayor? Do you have anybody in line to be the next mayor? Everything is going on here. So Rikers Island, Writers Alliance vows to fight Trump's decision and to end congestion pricing. So already, who is this benefiting? You're ready to kill the people for this? I can't even understand this. I'm gonna have to go to a break real quick because I am just over sweating. I am just over the top right here. I don't want to overheat and do a Wendy Williams and hit the deck right here, right now. So this is Jineea Butler. I need to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with the New American Perspective here on Millennium News 24.
Welcome to Millennium News 24, your trusted source for accurate, unbiased news. We're here to bring you the stories that matter most from America and around the world with integrity and a commitment to truth. In today's world, where misinformation can easily spread, having access to reliable news is more important than ever. At Millennium News 24, we aim to cut through the noise by delivering clear, fact-based reporting. Whether you're following major events or looking for in-depth analysis, we are here to serve you with transparency and respect for all communities regardless of color, wealth, or religion. This beautiful America was built by the resilience of its people, immigrants, entrepreneurs, doctors, and everyday individuals working together to create something great. It's this spirit that inspires us to provide you with news that's inclusive, honest, and relevant. We believe that informed citizens are the foundation of a strong society, and we strive to give you the knowledge you need to make a difference. From breaking news to insightful features, we bring you comprehensive coverage on politics, economics, health, culture, and much more. We believe that everyone deserves access to the truth, and we are proud to be a part of a global network that connects people through information. Stay informed by following us on your devices, including iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, and Smart TVS. And for global access, we're also available on Horizon Satellite. Visit us at www.millenniumtv24.com or www.millenniumnews24.com to stay updated at Millennium News 24. Our mission is to promote unity, understanding, and progress in a rapidly changing world. Join us as we work to inspire positive action through the power of truth. Thank you for watching. Follow us, subscribe, and stay informed.
And we are back. Thank you so much for that. That quick moment, because thank you so much for that quick moment, because I don't know, I just had a meltdown. I was thinking about that congestion pricing, and it had me hot. Okay, it had me hot up in here. Okay, so let's talk more about what is happening. You know, Trump has commanded the airwaves, and there's no other news going on but what he's talking about, okay? And that, he wants that and he likes that. So he talked about also, what do you think about Trump and Elon's relationship? Because Trump is saying that the media is trying to bridge a divide between him and Elon, right? And so they're coming out and they're saying, listen, we're best of friends. You're not going to do it. And everybody, Elon is getting billions of dollars from the Department of from the government now for his SpaceX and his Tesla stuff. So they've applied for stuff, and they've already got about, I think, $18 billion out of it. And they saying, well, Elon, if you want to cut the cost, cut that 18 billion right there. And let's start there, right? And so we've got Elon, and we've got that situation going on, and we've got his piece with Doge. Now they're saying that what Elon has uncovered thus far is that there's people that are 300 years old that are still getting income tax checks. Okay. And so I hope you haven't been one of those people that have been cashing those income tax checks, because just like them PPP loans, I think they're going to come running for you as well. Because if you're out there cashing those income tax checks, I don't know what we're going to do with you, because they said that there's a bunch of people that's 180, 160 on paper that are still getting these checks. So Elon has a point, and maybe that the U.S. government needs to really look at all the stuff they've been doing, because if once we uncover it, now we got to see who these checks and stuff are going to. I wonder if they're going to uncover that piece, right? Who are these checks going to that are getting the 100 that are 180, 101, 102, 150, all these people. And they're saying, well, if we've got those people should be in the Guinness Book of World Records if that's what we're doing. And so Elon is doing a lot of that, and he said that he uncovered 95 billion so far. And let me say again, he said that he's going to President Trump, and I think Elon wants friends. Elon is from South Africa. I don't know that he's ever had friends. He seemed like the kid in the corner that was just being smart all the time and coming up with stuff. He coming up with spaceships in the corner. That kid that was in the class. That's Elon. And so also, did you hear that Elon got 13 kids? I thought that was weirdo. Elon having 13 kids, because I'm thinking that he would be this married man and everything like this. And then the way that he had little X, and X name is Xavier. I called it right. So this is little Professor X now. We're gonna call little X Professor X. And little Xavier, his son, is one of 13. So Elon is doing his thing out there, and somebody just had a new baby. So Elon, he's got all the money in the world. So what can we say? Oh, Elon, you need to procreate with one person. No, he can do whatever he wants. Here, take some money. Here, raise the child. And this is the way I want you to raise a child. And when I want the child, I'll come get the child. So Elon is on one. We got to watch because I don't know about him. So like I said, Kash Patel was confirmed as the FBI director. Everybody had a little, they were on the edge about this kind of stuff, but he is confirmed. But here's the thing. Here's the problem. Now, this is where I believe you Democrats need to get it together. Because I don't necessarily like the fact that the the Republicans can just push anything that they want through, even though it don't make any sense, right? There was a lot of people that were up to be confirmed, and there was a lot of questions on the table. And the Republicans, because they're scared of going against President Trump, they were like, we don't see that. We don't see that. They were talking about how Kash Patel had wrote something in a book saying that he was going to get revenge on everybody that was against him and President Trump and everything like that. And now he's the FBI director. So now he's confirmed as the FBI director. Remember, he wanted to shut down the FBI for a couple months and start again. So we are up. We're in a new America, people. I told you we are ahead of the grain here at the New American. I'm just going to take ice slip. So again, my problem is that since the Republicans have control of the House and the Senate, everything that they want is going through. So Democrats, you guys are going to have to work a little harder. Now, it is a small margin. And if some Republicans start to feel iffy about it, and see, this is where the people have to push back too. And so the only way that a Republican is going to vote against President Trump and everything that's going on is if their constituents are pressuring them and saying, we're not going to vote for you if you continue to vote like this. But everybody is in unison so far. There's been a lot going on. Like I said, there's a bunch of firings going on in the thing. And here's a funny part about all the firings with the IRS. So they got 15,000 leaving out of the IRS. I don't know that, the IRS has been good. They're going to do an audit on the IRS, which I think needs to be done, as well as many people that's, going on. But let the people get their tax money because the people need it. But then they had fired a bunch of people that had nuclear codes. And so they had to call them back to work. Oh my goodness. And so just like with the aviation, everybody is now scared to fly. I haven't looked all the way in, but everybody is definitely scared to fly. And we're a little nervous about flying right now, because if you've seen the Delta flight coming out of Minneapolis going into Canada, landed on its back. Okay, landed, the wheels was up in the air, the people was upside down, had to get out the plane upside down. Thank God nobody died on that, and thank God the crash landing didn't blow the plane up, right? But that plane flipped over. So what is going on in aviation? Now, I don't care, aviators, how mad that y'all are upset with Trump and what kind of vendetta y'all got against him. Y'all got to get this right, because the flying is the safest way to travel. Now, we don't need to be questioning that. You got people jumping on trains and taking the train. But remember, the train crashed too. So we can't even say that, oh yeah, no, we're 100% safe. Safer in the air right now, because everything is going nuts and crazy. So what's happening, aviators? We need y'all to have a sit down, and we need y'all to say, okay, we might be mad at Trump, or is this somebody messing up stuff from the inside? Is it a form of war? I always look at that and say, when all these things are happening, is this war? Is somebody, putting us at war? Because, Americans, we don't think that anybody's going to come attack us, and how they're going to attack us. COVID, coming from China, may have been an act of war. And so they're going over the federal minimum wage now. What is a good minimum wage? I mean, there's a young man that is running for mayor in New York, and he says that minimum wage should be $25 an hour. That would be wonderful if I wasn't somebody with a business now, okay? Because when we look at it like that, $25 an hour, I got to make a lot of money to give you $25 an hour. So when we're talking about a minimum wage, we also have to remember the small business, because now in New York, I believe the minimum wage is $15 an hour, which is great. But if you're an employer and you've got to pay 10 people $15 an hour, and you are a small business, it hurts your business as well. So we've got to look at that. And what we've got to look at is, we need to not make the minimum wage. Minimum wage, we need entry level. So we need to get jobs that are better if we need to be paid more. And so we have to get our education people and go hard in the paint for all these things. You understand? So we really have to look at this and look at where we're going and how we're moving and all of that, that whole scenario. Okay. So what else we got going on here? So the JFK files are coming out. Okay. JFK files are coming out. Martin Luther King files are coming out. What do we think that we're going to see, and what do we think that we're going to hear? So 2 shooters are coming out in the JFK file. So I have to do a little bit of more investigation on that. But what do you mean 2 shooters? Wasn't there just one shooter? Oh gosh, so we don't want to really put that out. Now, former Vice President Harris is considering running for governor of California. She is the front runner, I believe, in front of Gavin to run California. Now, that might be good for her, because we need to hear her speak. We need to hear her do her thing. And maybe in the future, when she proves herself again as a Black woman, you always got to prove yourself, but you called yourself a Black woman. You should have stayed in the Indian lane. And but you always got to prove yourself over and over again, and it never stops. And we got to talk about that in the near future, because that is diabolical, and that is just as crazy as it comes as well. So now what was I going to say? So Governor Harris, I keep calling it Governor Harris, so maybe you in there. Vice President Harris going for governor of California. Now, what we have to stop touting around here is that everybody is saying that Stephen A. Smith is supposed to be going for, he's polling for president. Now, Stephen A. Smith is a sportscaster that's jumping into politics and now trying to put himself down as a candidate for president. Slow down, as Brand Nubia said. Stephen A., you doing way too much. We're not going to pick you for president ever. Okay, I'm just going to go on record and say that for everybody, Stephen A. And so we're going to take another break here on Millennium News. We're going to wrap up this week, and I will look forward to being with you next week and talking more good stuff, talking more good news with you. And hopefully Mayor Adams will still be in office, just so we got more to talk about. But I think he's going to be removed by then. So we'll be talking about who in the next 4 months will be our next mayor. That's our show for today. This is the New American Perspective with Jineea Butler, and I'll talk to you next week. I was just kidding. I was coming back. Just kidding. So, where are we at? I didn't have a guest today. That's why I'm slow to move. I have a lot going on, but I'm happy to see you all. I want to hear from you. I think we're on YouTube now, so I want to hear from you. Chime in, write in, ask me some questions, challenge things that I'm saying, because I want to be the best that I can be. You got Cash, Doge, Stephen A. Smith 2028, settle down, Stephen A. We pretty much went over all the highlights and all the guidelines to what's going on. Labor secretary pick, Senate grilling her. They got her grilling her. What else we got going on? Foxy Brown breaks signs and addresses. Oh yeah, Jay-Z, your boy Jay-Z, who just did the NFL halftime show, was over the NFL halftime show. Jay-Z they dropped the charges against him. He had a sexual assault charge that stemmed back into the early 2000s with a 13-year-old girl. And so the lawyer dropped the charges because they couldn't come up with a solid case. The girl was, her story didn't match. She's like 20 or 30 now. Her story didn't match with what she was saying in the timeline. And they were saying people weren't in the way and all that kind of stuff, all that other kind of stuff. Let me just get some water real quick. So they dropped the charges against Jay-Z. So that was very good for him. Shout out to him for that. I know he's mad at everybody, so he's not giving away his $1 billion from here on out, so you guys can forget it. Shout out to Choke No Joke and everything that he does in it. RFK reveals first targets in chilling speech. Okay, we're going to find out what that is. I can't see what that is, but he reveals his first targets. And so he's out there talking. He then redeemed his dad and his uncle, and now the Kennedy is back into office. So that is good. 7th prosecutor in Eric Adams case resigns. 7th prosecutor. I really want to know what's going on there. They're just saying, oh, we not doing this. We not working. We not coming up with anything. Donald Trump hilariously shuts down CNN reporter Caitlin Collins. He doesn't like Caitlin. Caitlin, she always comes with it. She's always fighting the president. But Caitlin, she goes hard. And Donald Trump, he picks on her. He calls her, okay, you. And then, Caitlin comes up with whatever she come up with, and she does her thing. Trump brings receipts to read off, shocking list of taxpayer-funded government. And we talked about that. What are we doing? The things that we're paying for, right? He's going over everything, and then everything might have been okayed, and because it has been frivolous government spending out here. You know what I'm saying? It has been completely frivolous government spending, and so we have to chin check that. And again, Elon said, and now Elon, you're gonna have to make that go through, brother E, because E said, look, I'm going to tell Trump to give everybody extra $5,000. That's in addition to the income tax, even though they want to wipe out the income tax and use tariffs as our expected piece, right? So that's where that is with that. So he's doing that, right? Okay. Cash Patel. Newt Gingrich, Democrats are watching this with terror. What's Newt talking about? Newt is over. Brennan backlash over VP Vance. So Vance got a mouth too. He's a little quiet out there, but the last speech that he had, he was a little tough. He was a little tough in the streets. I think Vance is from the streets of Ohio. I don't know. I gotta do a rhythm check on brother Vance, because Vance be coming with it hard. He just plays his position alongside President Trump really well. Now, what about your boy Kanye? I don't mean to call him a boy, but what about Kanye? Yee. So he was on fire the last couple weeks, going against the Jewish community yet again, talking about he likes the Nazis, and everybody was trying to cancel him. They did the FU Kanye campaign, but Kanye kept going. Now, but here is one thing that I thought that was amazing that he said that I kind of agreed with, not towards the Jewish community, not at all. I don't condone knocking anybody's community. As a Black woman, our community has been knocked enough, so I'm not going to go and knock anybody else's community. I'm not going to go and knock anybody else's community. But he sent a message to Liar Cohen. Liar Cohen used to be the president of Def Jam. He's obviously a Jewish man, Cohen, with the last name Cohen. And Kanye had said, listen, you have been taken advantage. I'm looking for the piece that I can read to you. Kanye said, you have done this to the Black community so much that I really don't care what you think. Because Liar Cohen says, listen, Kanye, we're tired of you. Now, the Jewish community will come out on you. They'll come out on you and say, and get you out of here. Let me see what he said to Kanye. Okay, and I'll give you the word for word. Liar Cohen addresses Kanye West in open letter. I am deeply disappointed and troubled. That's what he says to you. Larry Cohen, who held the key executive roles at Def Jam. This is what he says to Kanye. Hold on one second. Give him the thing. Dear Kanye, okay, here we go. I am deeply disappointed and troubled by your recent actions involving the use of Nazi symbols, which is completely wrong, and anti-Semitic rhetoric. Your words and actions are not only offensive, but triggering to all decent people who recognize the horrors of the Holocaust and the suffering of millions. With anti-Semitism on the rise, your on the rise, your voice and influence carry a significant responsibility. I urge you to be more sensitive to the pain your words inflict on Jewish communities and all those who stand against hate. Your talent and reach can be used to heal and inspire, to bridge divides and promote understanding. Instead, you've chosen a path that sows discord and perpetuates harmful stereotypes. And so that's where he went in. But Kanye came back. Kanye came back and said, well, you did that to the Black community. He said, you did that to the Black community. Let me see if it's right here. He said, you listen, here it goes. He said, Kanye turned around and said, you did that to the Black community. So where you at with it, right? You know, what you coming up with if I did that? And so now here we are in the midst. Let's see what Kanye says, and then we'll close out for today. Kanye West went off on Larry Cohen in a fiery post on Instagram. Let me get to that. Lee, or let me call you by your incorrect name, because Kanye is saying, listen, everybody up here is trying to call me, my name is Yee, and if you call me something else, you disrespecting me, okay? So Lee, or Yee, let me call you by your incorrect name. You and your whole industry have promoted and got paid off of songs where Black people glorified killing each other, but my t-shirt is the worst thing ever, West wrote. After bringing up an encounter with Tory Burch, he continued, you start by apologizing and taking accountability for the massive promotion of Black death that you have got paid off of for years. Also, you too broke to speak to me in the first place, and you know what Irv said to you before he passed, and since he's not here, I'll say it. Suck my. Okay, so that's how Kanye came back, and you know, there's a little bit to think about there. You know, the hip hop industry has definitely got paid off of death and destruction of young Black men. You know, so now that the Jewish community is under fire, Jewish people that didn't mind getting paid off of those young Black men are saying, no, let's not do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to end our show for this week, and we look forward to seeing you next week with the New American Perspective. And I always love to be with you. I always love to spend this time, because this is a new America, and we are the new Americans. I'll see you next week on Millennium News 24.